Well, joining me now is Bob Beers, Bruins radio analyst from 98.5 The Sports Hub. Good to see you, man.
Good to be back, Stevie.
It's playoff
It's been a long time.
Yes, it has. Hey, I want to start with the captain, Brad Marchand, because he has lifted his game in the playoffs.
Well, he lifted it all season long. I mean, he's good. I mean, he might have struggled a little bit down the stretch a bit, but yeah, when the big games come up, I mean, he's there. I mean, just look at his numbers and what he's done throughout his career. Just passed Cam Neely in all-time goals in the playoffs. His point totals are off the charts right now. So, and more than that, he brings his team into the fight. You know, we saw that, I think, a lot in Game 3 where he was battling. He battles with everybody all the time, right? He's drawn penalties this playoff. He has not taken a penalty this playoff. I don't think Sheldon Keefe, the coach of Toronto, is very happy about that.
Which is hard to believe that he has not, right?
But you watch him, you know, in scrum, Steve, like, you know, there's things going on after the whistle. He just skates away.
He's playing smarter.
Yes, very smart right now. He's done a great job, and then he's on the scoreboard just about every night. So good for him, and it's great for the team when he's able to do that and play that type of way.
I'll tell you who else has elevated their game, Jeremy Swayman. When it comes, especially against the Leafs. I mean, this guy owns Toronto. He's
been outstanding against Toronto this year. And Toronto's an offensive. They can score. There's no question. They were second in regular season in scoring, so they can put the puck in the net. But his numbers are off the charts so far against Toronto, and that was the big question, right, going into Game 4. Who's going to start? Are they going to go with Omar, or are they going to go with Swayman? I don't think they could go wrong either way. But the numbers that Swayman's put up, you can't deny those. And he continues to do it. And, you know, they were asked if he's in their head. I don't know. I think last game, especially Game 4, it was just the team defense for the Bruins that was in their head. They were frustrated last game. Swayman didn't have a lot to do until the third period, and then he was very good in the third.
Special teams have come up huge for the Bruins so far in this series.
And, you know, when guys on Toronto take undisciplined penalties, like Domi did in Game 4, the Bruins score. All of a sudden, it's now you're up 2-0 instead of 1-0.
But you got to make them pay.
You have to, and they have. They've made them pay. They're almost 50% on the power play this through this first round.
Why do you think that is?
Well, they split up the units. So towards the end of the season, they were struggling a little bit. They split up the units, a little fresh start. Things were getting a little stale, and they like what they're seeing so far. Now they switched them up again a little bit. For Game 4, Pastrnak played a little bit more with Marchand's unit. So, you know, it's kind of a work in progress, but they're still getting the results. And even when they're not scoring, they're putting a team back on their heels. They're putting Toronto back on their heels. And then the flip side of that is the penalty kill, which has been so good. They've given Toronto one power play goal throughout this entire series.
It's unbelievable.
And that's a potent power play. I know that they've been off a little bit towards the end of the year, and they were missing Nylander. Now he's back, and we don't know about Matthews, whatever, but their penalty killing's been on the same page. Goalie's been good, Swayman's been good, but the 4 penalty killers that are on the ice with him are all connected right now and all playing the right way. You know, going at guys when they need to, when there's loose pucks, backing off when they need to, and getting the clears, getting the puck 200 feet.
How much doubt is there in the minds of Toronto? Changing the goaltender, all of a sudden, are they starting to look at themselves a little bit and starting to wonder?
I think it was important to get Wall some time, and they got him the third period. He actually looked pretty good, because if they probably go to him, I would guess, in Game 5. Samsonov has been okay, but not great. Not great. He's had his moments, but not great. He's allowed a couple goals that you'd like to have back, and at least talking to the Toronto people. So, yeah, they're thinking right now, and then Austin Matthews is a big factor. What's wrong with him? Is it just an illness, or is it something else? Because he missed the third period the other day. They showed some clips of him up in Toronto before we left this morning, and just about how he was kind of laboring the last couple of shifts before the period ended.
Is there any player on the Bruins that has played better than you expected?
So, I don't know if better than expected, but there's a couple guys that were inserted into the lineup. Wotherspoon, who I've really liked since he's a simple player. He gives you everything he's got. He plays hard. He's not going to give you much offense, but he does his job, and he does it well. And he's out there at the end of games protecting leads. He's out there killing penalties. And I think Mason Lohrei played pretty well, especially in Game 4. You know, he played well in Game 3. I thought he played better in Game 4. And you're hoping that that's a good stepping stone for him. So those two guys were inserted in the lineup for Game 3, and you hope that continues now for them.
All right. They're up 3-1. They have been here before, right?
Yeah.
And Montgomery talked to the team today saying, hey,
I remember it well.
I remember it well, right? And there are lessons to be learned. What are some of those lessons that he was talking about?
Well, I don't think they took anything for granted last year against Florida, but I do think that they're a more hardened team, if that makes any sense, because they've had to deal with a lot more this year. You know, you lose some key players, and we don't have to go over the names. We all know the names and the guys that they lost. They added a lot of new faces to this year's lineup. They had to go through some ups and downs during the season. It wasn't just win every game and move on to the next one. They've had to deal with a lot of adversity this year, and you hope that helps them here moving forward. They seem fresh, they seem ready, they seem to have found their game. Maybe not entirely, but they got closer to it in really frustrating Toronto in the way that they played Game 4. Now they have to duplicate it in Game 5.
One last thing. The relationship between Ullmark and Swayman.
Excellent.
Describe it.
It's excellent. I mean, it's they both want to play. And that's any athlete wants to play. They want to be out there when the game's on the line. But they also support each other. And, you know, I can't put myself in their head, but they don't seem angry with one another if one guy's playing and one guy isn't. They accept their role, and they're behind the guy that's in the net.
So what you're saying is the hug is genuine.
The hug is genuine. Hey, when you see Swayman playing Santa Claus with Ullmark's kids, you know, during Christmas, you know, it's genuine. Yeah.
Way to go, my man.
Great to see you, Stevie.
Great to see you too as well. Thank you very much, Bob Beers. Thanks.